Attending Kings Point, obstacles are unavoidable. The graduation requirement of the academy is to sail abroad and merchant vessels for 300 days with 4 years in attendance. That puts a great strain on the workload while at school, along with the completions of sea projects, third mate license exams. During my sophomore year, I sailed from San Francisco to Indonesia to Cape Town, South Africa. From South Africa back to Houston. In my junior year, I served on the USNS Tippecanoe and USNS Watkins. I visited Greece, Netherlands, Diego Garcia, Australia, and Persian Gulf. During this time, I earned the Merchant Marine Expeditionary Medal by delivering cargo to Kuwait in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom. By the time I was a senior at the Academy, I developed into somebody who was able to handle the immense demands of Academy life. The U.S. Coast Guard license exam is given to all Academy seniors at the end of the year, and this marks the last step in completing the United States Merchant Marine Academy's four-year program. Out of only the 4 minority students of the 300 admitted, only 2 of us were even left. And I was the only one to actually pass the exam and graduate on time. Regimentally, my senior year, I was selected by the Commandant's Department as the 1st Battalion Commander, the 2nd highest command billet in the Regiment of Midshipmen. I was responsible for over 400 midshipmen, as well as my 6-man staff. Of the 5 companies in the regiment, the 2 under my command won 1st and 2nd place in the annual command inspection. I was also named the who's who in American colleges and universities. Athletically, I was voted by my teammates as the football team captain and was named to 4 All-American football teams. In the fall of 2002, while playing against the Coast Guard Academy, I was blessed to be able to break 4 Academy records and lead the NCAA Division III in rushing yards. I'm sure Lieutenant Piper remembers that very clearly. He was on the opposite sideline of the Coast Guard Academy. My point is that all of this was from someone who had been told, "Sorry, son, you're just not good enough." Some of you have maybe been told that you're not good enough, or for whatever reason, you fear that you can't make the cut. Well, let me tell you something about fear. If you allow fear to influence your decisions, then ultimately your fear will run your life. The science fiction writer Frank Herbert said in one of his mid-20th century novels, "I must not fear. Fear is the mind killer. Fear is the little death that brings total obliteration. I will face my fear. I will permit it to pass over me and through me, and when it has gone past, I will turn the inner eye to its path. Where the fear is gone, there will be nothing. Only I will remain." I stand up here not as the smartest guy that you're ever going to see or meet. I didn't have A grades in high school. I didn't have A grades at Kings Point. I don't have A grades now at law school. What I did have, and what I still have, is the will to succeed. If you have the will to succeed, the only person who can stop your success is you. It's not the skill of the man, it's the will of the man. This month I returned to the Academy to celebrate my 5-year homecoming with other members of my class. Some graduates like myself from law school, others were sailing the world on merchant vessels, some were military pilots, financial advisors, so on and so forth. I had numerous friends who I played football with who were sailing on merchant vessels who were making in excess of $15,000 a month. Yeah, that's right, $15,000 a month. In my senior year, before even walking the stage and receiving my diploma, I had already received 2 job offers. One in Chicago as an underwriter for a marine insurance company. The other one was in San Diego with a slightly higher salary. Both of these salaries at the time were in the top percentiles for all starting salaries for college graduates in the country. So in making my decision on which of these 2 jobs, as a single young man in his mind frame, I considered what I call the 3 W's. Wages, weather, and women. Well, from that measuring stick, you could probably assess that I decided to go live in San Diego. After a year of living there, I moved back to the Northeast. I was offered a job at the Staten Island Ferry as a mate, above deck officer. And in just 3 years out of the Academy, I was making over $90,000 annually. If you know that you want to be successful, and if you know you want to be challenged on a daily basis, if you know you want to have a college experience that is unlike any other, yet you're willing to sacrifice, the Merchant Marine Academy can provide you with more options than you know what to do with. I do not say all this, however, to tell you to come to the United States Merchant Marine Academy and you'll be rich, or you'll be famous, or you'll be a star. I quit that job that was paying me $90,000, got accepted into Tulane Law School, joined the United States Marine Corps to become a staff judge advocate, or otherwise known in other services as a JAG. You may ask, why would I give up a job that was paying me $90,000? Well, to put it in perspective, I'd like to read you something written by Ben Stein. Ben Stein is a trained economist and lawyer who has won Emmys for his television work. He's a novelist, columnist, and popular speaker. As an actor, he's famous for his role in The Boring Teacher in Ferris Bueller's Day Off. And you've also seen him in commercials for Clear Eyes and Freescore.com. He wrote a column for the website E! Online. And when he decided to step down, he wrote his last column. He wrote about who and what is really important in life. And it was an instant internet classic. He wrote, "A man or woman who makes a huge wage from memorizing lines and reciting them in front of a camera is no longer my idea of a shining star we should all look up to." I'm sure you could probably say the same thing about athletes. How can a man or woman who makes an 8-figure wage and lives in insane luxury really be a star in today's world? If by a star we mean someone bright, powerful, and attractive as a role model. Real stars are not riding around in the backs of limousines and Porsches, getting trained in yoga or Pilates, and eating only raw fruit while they have Vietnamese girls do their nails. They can be interesting, nice people, but they are not heroes to me any longer. The real star is a soldier of the 4th Infantry Division who poked his head into a hole on a farm near Tikrit, Iraq. He could have been met by a bomb or hail of AK-47 bullets. Instead, he faced an abject Saddam Hussein and the gratitude of all the decent people of the world. The stars who deserve media attention are not the ones who have lavish weddings on TV, the ones who patrol the streets. We put couples with incomes of $100 million a year on the covers of our magazines. The non-coms and officers who barely scrape by military pay, but stand guard in Afghanistan and Iraq, and in ships and submarines near the Arctic Circle are anonymous. There are plenty of other stars in the American firmament, policemen and women who go off on patrol in South Central and have no idea if they were returned alive. The orderlies and paramedics who bring in people who have been terrible accidents, prepare them for surgery. The teachers and nurses who throw their whole spirits into caring for autistic children. The kind men and women who work in hospices and cancer wards. Your ROTC instructors. Think of each and every fireman who was running up the stairs at the World Trade Center as the towers began to collapse. Now you have an idea of a real hero. You see, I've come to realize that a life that's lived in service is the only one that matters. And that it is my duty in return for the natural talents I've been blessed with, and the years of training that's been bestowed upon me, to serve this country with fervor and dedication. As John F. Kennedy beckoned this country, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. I'll close with this. One of the most prestigious events of the Olympic Games is the marathon. 26 miles, 385 yards, one of the most severe tests of human endurance. In the 1968 Summer Olympic Games held in Mexico City, John Stephen Akwari of Tanzania started with the other runners, but he fell behind. At the finish line, the 100,000 plus spectators packed the Olympic Stadium, cheered the winners of the race. Other runners entered the stadium and crossed the finish line also to the cheers of the crowd. When the race was over, other events started, and thousands of spectators left. Then, amazingly, one lone runner entered the stadium. It was John Stephen Akwari. His pace was slow and his steps wobbly. His knee was bloody and bandaged from a fall earlier in the race. Frankly, he looked terrible. As he entered the stadium, he began to slowly complete that last lap around the track. The few remaining spectators began to realize who he was and what he was doing. As he slowly and painfully crossed the finish line, they cheered, saluting his determination. After the race, Akwari was asked, "What kept you going? Why didn't you stop?" His answer, "My country did not send me to Mexico City to start the race. They sent me here to finish." Young men and women, the future of America, you have been commissioned to duly run a race. The future of our country is depending on you to finish it. Don't quit on the United States. So when the sun comes up tomorrow morning, you best be running. Thank you.